Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have the Holy Stone HS900, and this is the side panel. So it's a 249-gram drone, foldable. It boasts 4K HD video and 48 megapixel photos. It is intelligent flight, supports quick charge, visual tracking, 3-axis brushless gimbal. So this thing has it all. So opening it up, I actually did a video before, and unfortunately I had some technical difficulties with the lighting and I had to redo this video. But needless to say, I've been impressed through this process, and probably through the second part of this process to go through this with you. So a lot of this unwrapping has been done already, just to kind of give you a heads up. So if it looks like I've been into this before, I have. So it comes with a generously long USB and C charging cable, so you can basically plug that into any charging block that you have available. However, I did find out when I was charging it yesterday, it does take quick charging, so it will take like the 3 amp chargers. If you have 2 amp or lower, something like the older charging blocks from some of the older cell phones and stuff like that, that will not work. It will not charge it quickly enough. So you probably need at least a 2 amp or higher to get the quick charging and to get the basic charging on the drone. So this is the drone itself, and that's the battery. And I mean, 249 grams, I mean, that is like super light, especially when you're holding it. So the battery does charge when it is attached to the drone. And if you can tell here, you have your TF card slot here, and you have your USB-C charge slot here as well. And like I said, it is very helpful if you have a quick charger available, which I'm going to actually plug this in while we sit here for a quick moment. So basically, that's when you plug it in, and it'll give you a quick flash underneath here. We'll go through some more of the setup here. I just want to get that battery up and charging a little bit more. This is your remote. We'll get to that in a second. And then this is your bag of accessories. It did come all packed separately, so I did have to take the opportunity of basically putting it back into this bag that came along with it. But let's basically pour everything out, and you'll kind of see everything that comes with it. So you get your propeller screws. You get a pack of those. So we'll put that back so we don't lose anything, keep track of it all. It does come with a screwdriver to make that process helpful when you have to go through that. And it does come with a bunch of spare propellers. And again, they are marked with their orientation, so if you ever do go through the process of having to replace your propellers, just make sure you have the correct orientation arrow with the corresponding arrows on the propellers on the drone itself. So that is everything in there. Nice, neat little package. And put that right back in a bag. And this is a little unique to this drone versus some of the other drones that Holy Stone puts out. You have connection cables that you're going to connect your iPhone or your Android phone to the remote control. So that way you have a Lightning and you have a USB-C. So you get these 2 short cables. We'll keep those off on the side for a second. And then this is your remote control. It does require charging. And the charging port is on the side of the H button, and then your phone connection port is on the opposite side. Kind of give you an idea. So the red side, I call it like this left-hand side, that's going to be how you charge it up. And again, simply as plugging a USB cable into that, and then you'll see the corresponding green lights go as it is charging. Again, what I found out yesterday is connecting it to a lower amperage charger, it's not going to charge as fast. So it does support fast charging, so you want to make sure that you have the right size charging block for that. Also very unique to this drone is this little compartment here contains these removable joysticks that you basically put in on top here, and they screw down. Just make them like, you know, snug, finger tight. And they are very, they're like rubber coated, and they do have a good feel to your thumbs that you're primarily going to be using to control this drone, and that is pretty awesome. And it does have a secondary joystick here. We'll get into that a little bit further on as we go. These antennas, this does boast a pretty far performance level, and definitely make sure that you're always keeping this in line of sight just to be careful. And yeah, so another unique feature is your phone mounts at the bottom here, which acts as your video screen for your drone. And I can show you with my cell phone. I think it's one of the Galaxy tabs with a case on it. So it is a rather large phone, and with the case, and it fits very comfortably into that area. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But there is a awesome tutorial video. I will show you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned, but that tutorial video that you can view, it's in the instruction manual. It is fantastic to go through. It goes through everything that you need to know. Anything that's not covered, I'll try to cover here, and we go from there. So anyway, let these charge up for a little bit more, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. So we've been letting these charge for a little while. Let's go through the manuals. So they are in the top part of the case, which is kind of give you a quick shot of that again. That's pretty awesome. So I love that it has a spot. You can put all your little stuff that you need. So this is the quick start guide. So I'm basically going to flip past the diagram of the transmitter. So it's basically going to explain what everything does on the transmitter. So again, please read through these because there's a lot of information I can't possibly cover in a video tutorial here. But again, charging, go over. Ideally, you want like one of those quick charging blocks to really get these charged up rather quickly. A little tongue-tied there for a quick second. And then you can put in a 128 gigabyte card, which I absolutely recommend, especially if you're doing a lot of aerial photography or videography. The bigger card, the better, just because you want to store as much information. Smaller cards like a 32 or 64 is probably not going to be enough for you, especially if you're doing 4K. Definitely get a 128 gigabyte card to start off with. You'll be much better off. And then basically extending this, so we'll unplug the drone real quick from the charger. So it gives you kind of some directions here on the side. So you want to unfold these top ones first, and then you want to unfold the bottom ones second. So that'll give you kind of an idea of how you want to unfold this. And again, it has a decent sized wingspan for a drone that is like on a smaller side like this. But again, and I love that it has these, I guess like scissor type propellers on it. So they help fold in and make it ultra compact, which is the thing. When you're putting these type drones in your carry bag, make sure that you have these orientated the correct way. So when you're folding this back up, you want to do the bottom wings first, and then the top ones wings, like arms. Basically interchangeable words there when it comes to drones. And you want to make sure that you have these propellers folded in and be nice and gentle when putting it into the bag. They are fragile and they can break, so be careful. That's why you got some extra spares that come with it automatically. But again, if you've been flying drones as long as I have, mistakes happen and you can break these rather easily. So again, it is a pretty high-end product. Make sure that you are treating it as such. Okay, so turning your drone on, it's simple as you want to give it a quick press and then you want to hold down, and then basically that is on. You'll get the blinking light at the bottom, super bright, and that will make sure that it is going to power on properly for you. And then to turn the drone off, basically the opposite. Give it a quick 1 second tap and then hold it in, and then it will power down. Same thing goes with your remote. So we'll unplug the charger for a quick second here. So to turn it on, a quick tap, and then you'll hear a beep, and then it will basically be looking for the drone itself. To turn it off, same thing, quick tap, hold for a longer period, and then that will go back down. And we'll give this a quick drink of juice here. We'll get that charging up a little bit better. And like I said, it's helpful if you have a second set of cords. This only came with one, but that's fine. The charger usually outlasts the drone battery. And what I mean by that is that typically on your remotes. You can probably get like 2 or 3 flights out of it, sometimes longer depending on how you're using it, before you have to recharge that. So it's basically kind of like, I've always used a 2-to-1 ratio when it comes to these type drones that come with a rechargeable remote control. So you want to make sure that that's how you basically work with it. So if you have your drone, you fly it once. I like to basically recharge the drone and the remote at the same time, just so I know that I have them at proper levels. However, if you're out in the field and you have 2 batteries and you got the 1 remote, obviously, you can get a second flight out of the remote once it's fully charged with a second battery on your drone. Again, drones tend to be very power hungry, so they will go through your battery a lot faster than your remote control will. But again, just use some sense when it comes to doing that. Your user manual has like an enormous amount of information in it. It is advisable to absolutely positively read through everything so you are completely familiar with this whole process. So in case some things come up that you're not sure of, they'll be covered in a manual for sure. So again, the tutorial video is absolutely great at getting you up and running. However, read through the manual just to make sure that you can get a lot of tips, tricks, secrets, stuff that you weren't sure about going through. But it is pretty straightforward. Okay, there is an app that you have to put onto the phone before connecting it to the remote control. Make sure you do that. That is in the first part of both manuals. Really easy to go through. And because of some privacy issues, I will not be able to show you that whole process. But again, be assured it is very easy to go through. And Holy Stone's tech support is top notch. I've had to contact them for various reasons over the years, and they've been very helpful, easy to communicate with and run through any problems that you may run across. However, they do tend to be very basic in starting off. They'll ask you a lot of different questions, but to me sometimes they get a little like repetitive. But again, they're doing their job, they're doing their position. Very super helpful. I had a drone that I got from Holy Stone. I was having some connection issues, and we went through some basic startup things. I'm like, yes, I have a lot of drones. I do this all the time. Be patient with them. They'll get you to the end result. And the issue I was having was something that I totally missed, and in their basic finding, they were able to point out to me. So again, great. Try not to make this a long video, but this is a very awesome drone. Let's get outside, get it set up, first flight, and then I'll get some specialty photography in there so you can kind of like see what the end results were, pictures and video, and see what that quality looked like. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to go through a couple things on the app after I do the setup, and we will go from there. Okay, and we're outside, and I ended up using my iPhone to connect to the camera. It was a little bit of this. Basically, it's the same process. So make sure that you have your lightning cable plugged in, or USB-C if you're using an Android. And then you want to plug that into your remote here on the side. So again, this is going to be the side that's going to charge your remote for you. And then this is the side that is going to connect it to your phone. So just so you have your orientation correct. So it's already connecting to the satellites, so that's good. So we will connect our drone. So again, quick tap and hold, and then that will turn that on and start that for you. And again, the tutorial is very good. I have a lot of glare since it's really bright out here today, but there's a lot of different functions that you can do. You can go into your settings. That's here. And I'm going to keep angling back and forth so I just get kind of like the best picture quality I can for everybody out there. So you want to select your speed mode. So we're going to put in stable. We're going to turn beginner mode off because I'm a little bit, I want to say I'm an expert, but I'm an experienced flyer. So we're just going to turn that section off. And then we're going to go into the units. I'm going to actually use imperial, so it's feet. Then you're going to have, basically you can customize a lot of different things in here. We're going to go back into settings, and then you can see where your drone shows up, drone name, map settings. We're going to scroll, we're going to go back to the first one, first menu, safety. We're going to scroll all the way down and go to calibration. And then we're going to do our compass. We're going to hit calibrate, start calibration, and then it's going to give you basically what to do. So you're going to be turning your drone in a clockwise motion. We're going to be turning it this way. And then the pictures will actually turn. So now it's going to basically be showing you that animation that they show. And we're going to turn this way. And we're just going to watch the screen until it basically gives us a check mark, so we know that that part is complete. So we're going to go to gyroscope, start calibration, and it's auto calibrating basically based on your drone's position where it's sitting. So that's done. And then gimbal, auto calibration, and then it's basically going to go through the auto calibration process. And again, I'm just moving this around, so depending on what the glare is, you'll be able to see. So that's completely done. So now we're basically ready to fly. And then to control this, the camera, you can select if you want it in photo mode or if you want it into video mode. Video mode is basically going to give you that red button on the screen. Okay, then after you make your 14 satellite connections, it's going to tell you that you are ready in that upper right hand corner. And I have these black flies. They are terrible this time of year here. Okay, and we're basically, you are putting both joysticks in opposite corners, and that will start your motors for you. And if you want to stop them, you basically put them in like that, especially when it comes to like the landing. However, it does have a auto landing feature that when it detects that it's on the ground, the motors will automatically shut off. So that's a good feature. But anyway, let's get this up and flying. And then basically the only thing you do is you hit that little up arrow, and again, super stable, and that does a great job at hovering.